Life is not unfair. You simply don't know its rules. Imagine you're playing the Sims game for the first time ever. So you're given the character and you have no idea what are his needs. You don't know how energy works, how mood works, how his work and relationship works. So you simply press random buttons. Your character is hungry, exhausted, irritated, starts to fight with everyone, keep failing all the tasks. And in the end, you can say, well, this game is not unfair. Of course it's not. You simply don't know its rules. The same works with life. You can be in the same country, in the same city, with the same intelligence and the same opportunities. But if you keep living on autopilot without knowing how your nervous system, identity, behavior, perception works, you simply live on autopilot. You keep pressing the same buttons and of course get the same results that never change. In this video, I will show you 7 rules that governs actually this material life, that governs human transformation and how can you reprogram yourself to become anyone you wish. And if you truly understand them, 3 things will happen. First, you will stop blaming yourself forever because you will understand how your nervous system works. Secondly, you will see why motivation almost never works, why you don't need to pour more coffee in yourself or listen to inspiring videos. You are the source of your own inspiration, of your energy, of motivation, of everything you're looking outside. And the third, you will see that change or manifestation is a structure. It's a system that you can build. It's not a lottery. So you can build yourself and rebuild of any type of character you want to play in this game. Let's start. So my task for this video to share with you 7 rules, 7 action steps, a methodology scientifically proved that you can use at any time, at any point of your life to change your reality, to change yourself and then to change the reality around you. So watch this video till the end if you want to make your transformation reproducible, no matter from which point you are starting from. The system always choose safety until proven otherwise. And by system, I mean you, because you are the system. So the first rule sounds very simple, but it actually explains half of human suffering. Your nervous system always chooses safety first, and only after your growth, your ambitions, your dreams. That's why when you put your new goal or new dream, but your nervous system is not ready, your capacity is not expanded enough, you will feel like you are lazy, you are procrastinating, you are self-sabotaging. For example, you think that I need to launch new business, or I want to launch my YouTube channel, or any type of goal you need. And you prepare for this. You write the actions that you need to do. And then when you come to the point when you need actually to execute, you need to do the actions, or you start to get sick, or you start to feel lazy, or you start to scroll your Instagram and do everything, but not the things you have to do to reach your dream. And that's not the problem of sabotaging or laziness. It's not about laziness. That means that your nervous system is always choosing what is safe to eat, not the unknown. That's why very often something that is unknown, which are new actions, feels like a threat. That's why the new scale of money or new scale of responsibility or visibility, if it's about media, or for example, if it's relationship, it feels like a threat because it's unknown, even though it's something that you think like, of course, I want more money. Why it's not safe? No, for your system, it's more safe to be where you are and to choose again and again the same actions that you've been choosing before. That's why your nervous system will always keep returning to the same safe script, shifting your body from threat mode to where it feels familiar, even though if familiar, it's toxic relationship, no money, no visibility, etc., etc. That's why human transformation never starts with your goals or your dreams, but from the capacity, from your nervous system that is ready to hold space for your new level without panicking, holding pressure without any contraction, because without that capacity, you cannot hold new trajectory. The second rule, you don't live in objective reality. You live in your interpretation of reality or your map of reality. What does it mean? Your brain is like a meaning-making machine. The reality we see is actually just a stream of events and it's neutral. But your brain, your perception, is what makes a meaning to the events we see. And the interpretations, the lenses through which we see this stream of events, that actually what causes the result. So for example, let's say you start a business or you decide that you want to launch your Instagram blog. As an entrepreneur, you do first offers to your clients and you get rejections or they even doesn't reply. And there are two ways to react to it. The first one is, oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm not a good entrepreneur. That doesn't for me. I'm so stupid. My offer is not interesting. Or, okay, this offer doesn't work. What I should change in offer so that it works. That's it. So in first one, you take it to yourself. You associate it with your personality and you think that the failure or the mistake is in you. And that's why next time you will not even do this. But on the other side, if you see the reality is just like a feedback from which you can actually learn and grow without taking it to your personally. So yes, they are rejecting my offer. What as entrepreneur I can change in my offer so that it become interesting to my clients. That's it. Or for example, you decided to start Instagram blog. You post your first video and it doesn't go viral, it just gets few views. And you may think, oh, I'm not interested, oh, I'm so boring, oh, I'm not good at camera, blah, blah, blah. So again, you are taking it personally and of course you will give up earlier or later. Or you are looking at this as just as feedback and reality. Okay, I'm analyzing my video. Maybe the hook was not good. I will change my hook next time. I will change the script next time. I should work on this and that. I will analyze what I should do better. And again and again. So on the first option, you would always give up because you are taking it personally, while on the second option, you would see reality neutral, but just as a feedback system from which you can learn and grow. Always choose the second. And remember, it's only your brain that usually makes meaning from your past events, usually traumatic events or fear. That's how it makes this perception. That's why the second rule is always separating your interpretation from the facts and recalibrating your perception. That's why transform always include recalibration of your perception. Separating the fact from automatic inner stories that your meaning-making machine, like brain, takes from your past, from your traumatic experience. The third rule, you choose what you feel permitted to have. And this one is very important because if you look on objective reality right now, what you have right now is what you allowed yourself. And what you don't have is where you still, unconsciously of course, don't allow to yourself. Even though if in your vision board or on your goal list, you write down more money, more visibility, better relationship. Internally, if you still don't have it in your objective reality, you still may feel that you are not enough to this. And if you look at any billionaire, they are exactly the ones who allowed themselves to have that $1 billion. And we're not talking about morality right now, not about the way they get this money from. We're talking exactly about their internal system and how does it work from your nervous system perspective. So for example, a person wants more money, but inside they feel uncomfortable to name their price so that they start to justify, to explain, to offer discounts, to promise to do more than required because inside there is a rule. If I'm too expensive, I won't be chosen and I'll be alone. Another example is when person wants to be respected in relationship, but they're afraid to set boundaries because inside there is a rule that if I will say no, I will be abandoned. So I will better to agree. So yes, you may write on your vision boards the most incredible things, but until your internal permissions doesn't change, you will recreate the old scripts even if external circumstances change. That's why human potential is programmable, not because the universe will deliver, but because you, inside of yourself, will change your permissions. And permissions can be observable. When they're observable, so you can see what is going on inside of you, you can rewrite, you can reprogram them. And when you reprogram them, new life doesn't feel dangerous, a threat, or something foreign, your nervous system accepts new reality as normal. The rule number 4, the system believes repetition, not inspiration. And it's very important because this rule actually destroys the idea of motivation, but gives you real freedom and authority. Again, I'm saying the word system because we are looking at ourselves not as we used to, but looking at Sims game when there is a character and this character has a system. And we are learning how to use that system to reach those goals that we want to reach and to win this life actually, or to win this game, right? That's why I'm talking to you only from the point where we observe the system of our hero, which is you. So the system never updates from the inspiration, but from repeated experiences. Imagine you are 30 years in a row was doing, for example, your eating habits like this. And then you go on wonderful training or watch amazing YouTube video, you got inspired, and from tomorrow you will start to have only healthy eating habits. You do it 2 times in a row, and on the 3rd day, inspiration gives up, and you come back to the old experience. Why? Because for 30 years in a row, it's 365 days, in 30 years you was doing something repetitively, which your system was accepting as normal. And then, on the peak of enthusiasm, you got an idea that you will change your life forever, do it few times, and then you give up because you didn't repeat it enough time so that your nervous system would accept it as normal. So yes, it's incredible to get an inspiration. It's amazing to get this peak of enthusiasm. But plus to this, you need to get disciplined and you need to repeat it as many times as it's possible so that your nervous system would accept new actions not as threat, not as something unfamiliar, but as something familiar and normal. Your brain is not romantic, it's statistician. So when you write a very beautiful plan, when you are very inspired, you have to understand that at this exact moment, your body and your nervous system still didn't get anchored for these new actions. So you have to get anchored by repeating these actions. That's why at scientifically backed transformation system Genie in a Bottle, one of the most important parts at our training is that we are doing the first steps. So we are anchoring in our body. We are anchoring for our nervous system the actions that we are doing, that we are already there, and it's okay. And it's okay to go through this fear, and it's actually not fear, so that your nervous system is not accepting this as threat. For example, some of the ladies that were coming to the training, they were afraid to start their Instagram, to start their blog, not just for friends, but for their clients. So they were doing the first post exactly there at the training. They had to post there. And when you do it, and when you write the action plan, and you actually execute it, and you get disciplined, and you understand that, yes, first 2 weeks, it may feel uncomfortable, but I will go through it because I understand how nervous system works. I understand that nervous system first few days, first few weeks would accept this action as threat, and it will resist it. And I'm okay that it will resist it. I will still do it because I understand that on 3rd week, it will get better. Then it will get easier. Then I will get more comfortable. And that's exactly how nervous system works. So I'm not doing something against myself. I'm doing it for myself, understanding that just my nervous system and body was used to a different way of living. Rule number 5. Environment amplifies your settings, which is why people fall back not because they are weak. That's why after another incredible training, incredible course, incredible YouTube videos, you get so inspired, you decided, yes, I will change my life from tomorrow. But then you come back to your usual environment and you cannot sustain change. Your surrounding is not a background. It's actually functional part of your operating system. If you try to change yourself, but every day you are surrounded by people where fear, minimization, passive aggression, criticism, toxic humor is the norm, your system will keep reverting because for your nervous system is a signal, it's safe. Right? But on the other side, when you enter another type of environment where people discuss growth, their dreams, ambitions, that everything is possible, that high standards are norm, you suddenly find yourself functioning very differently. That's why when people, for example, enter the Genie in a Bottle program and find yourself surrounded with like-minded people who also want to grow, to live their dream life where they're helping each other, where they're supporting each other, where they're believing in each other, where they're cheering each other. That feels absolutely different. And of course, your neurons are switching to another way because that's what signals to your nervous system that it's norm. High standards is norm. Growth is norm. Dream life is norm. And yes, it feels like it's happening itself, but simply in reality it's just amplification of your new settings. So in practical life, it looks like you are stopping the content that was constantly triggering anxiety, fear, comparison, reducing interactions that was keeping you trapped in old role, choosing rhythm, choosing space, choosing safety, choosing the dream life that supports your new role and new life. And in that moment, transformation stopped being like a constant battle because you no longer have to protect the version of yourself you want to become. And here we come to the most important part. Why people don't change, why people don't create a new reality, even if they understand everything. So when people try to change their mindset and discipline without changing their system, internal system, when they try to believe or repeat affirmation without changing internal permission, when they start to build new strategy, without changing the map of reality, the lenses through which you see the world and accept the world, so that it creates the familiar effect, the same results, even though it feels like you understand everything, you know everything, but life stays the same because the source of decisions didn't change, which means that person keeps reproducing the same patterns even with new goals or new set of inspiration. And this is the key, that human potential is really programmable, but it's programmable not under inspiration or motivation. It's a sequential reconfiguration where each layer makes next layer possible. That's why when I was presenting the scientifically backed transformation system called Genie in a Bottle at Cambridge University, I got standing ovations because it's not a magic. It's a scientifically backed transformation system that helps any person to design and embody their desired reality through restructure of internal configuration, so that new trajectory becomes not a willpower project, but a natural extension of perception, identity, behavior, nervous system stability, and behavior architecture. That's why it doesn't promise a miracle. It explains the mechanism and then it gives you the action protocol that make a transformation possible, that you can apply to your life and reproduce the shift. And then you see the results and perceive them as data rather than coincidence. So welcome to the game. Now you finally know how it works.